So, as usual, we're going to start our session, so lying down in Shavasana. So, coming down to a nice lying down position on our mat, and this is our first opportunity to use any props that we might need. So if in Shavasana, when you rest your head backwards, you find you're really cranking your neck, then again, get your first prop in there, use a cushion, use a rolled up blanket, use just something so that you can tilt your chin towards your chest ever so slightly, and then just help elongate your neck here. So just give your hips a bit of a rock from side to side, and maybe your shoulders a little bit of a shrug. And just make sure that you kind of ironed out any knots or any kinks that might prevent you from settling down here. So going into this position here, the first thing we're going to do is just start to draw our attention to our breath. I'd like to invite you to take a nice deep inhale through your nose, and then sigh it out through your mouth. 2 more like this, inhaling through nose, filling the lungs, and sighing it all out through your mouth. Taking 1 more deep inhale, and sighing it out, letting everything go. So now just let your breath just fall back into its natural pattern. If you want to, you can rest a hand on your stomach, on your chest here, just to draw a bit more attention to that, using the physical movements to connect with the breath. So noticing the subtle movements of the body as it does something that it does every day, all day, that we don't really think about very much. The body's just breathing by itself, taking care of itself, without really any attention required from us. And we're taking our attention now to our physical body, just releasing the hand back down to the ground if it's already bent. And we're just going to do a nice gentle full body scan, just as a form of just checking in as where we are physically. Starting at the top of the head, we're going to imagine some warm sunlight passing over the top of the head, passing over the forehead, down at the end. As it slowly passes down over your body, just visualize those areas. And if there's any areas that feel particularly tight or particularly tense, then take some time just to breathe into those areas. Make a note, maybe, to give them a bit more attention in your practice today, especially a bit more patience. Before moving on and allowing that ray of sunlight just to carry on floating down, slowly and smoothly over the rest of the body. Pressing down over your thighs, over your knees, over your shins, all the way out to the end of it. So now we're taking our attention to our breath and our physical body. Maybe we notice we're also a little more aware of where the mind is at. Maybe when we first lay down on the mat this evening, it felt like a little bit of a snowstorm. And maybe you now feel like those snowflakes are starting to settle. As well as kind of physically stretching out and relaxing the muscles. A yoga practice can also relax the mind. So drawing your attention back to your breath now, start to take slightly deeper breaths. Just to bring a little bit more oxygen into the body, ready for our physical practice. just to start bringing small movements into your body. Maybe raising a knee one at a time, circling the wrists, moving fingers, circling ankles, maybe twisting your head from side to side. And then if you have a cushion or a pillow under your head, just releasing it here. And then your next inhale, pointing the toes and reaching the fingertips all the way above our head, coming into the biggest, longest stretch we could possibly find ourselves. Inviting a big smile across our face. And from here, we're going to take the right knee and hug it in towards our chest. So wrapping our hands around the back of the leg or against our shin. And just putting it really tightly, trying to put in towards our arm. And then from here, we're going to transfer our hands to the back of the thigh. And then just start to manipulate the hip socket, just doing small circles here, just to help open up the joint. And just break down any tight fascia that may come to any knots in there. And then swapping your circles to the opposite side. From here, with your hands on the back of the thigh, we're going to extend that leg up towards the ceiling. So trying to get the sole of your foot up towards the sky and thinking about your toe pointing down towards your knee. So we're just warming up, so I'm not really too bothered about how close this leg is coming in towards your chest. Just trying to make it nice and straight and push that heel up and away from you. And again, we're just warming up through the stretch for a deeper hamstring stretch later on. If you feel like you still need a bit more movement in that hip, then feel free just to rock from side to side slightly as well. And again, this point is just a nice gentle stretch for hamstrings. You should feel legs shaking. Then pulling that right knee back into the chest again. We're going to use the left hand just to pull it over towards the left hand side of our body. So we're coming to the left and left hand side. And from here, we're just going to take this right arm behind us, and it could rest directly out at shoulder height, or just a little bit further down. We've still got our left cheek on the ground, and this is coming over to the left hand side. We're just trying to stretch out through the shoulder and open up into the chest. So here, allow your body to sink and melt into the twist. Just let it unravel and unfurl by itself without trying to push your body in any direction. Letting gravity do the work, let the muscles soften. And again, making sure you're connecting your breath. So as you breathe in, think about sending that breath to any area that still feels tight within the chest. And as you exhale, visualize the muscles in the area releasing them. Slowly rolling back to center. Putting that knee towards the chest once again. Exhale, releasing the leg down towards the ground. So inhale, we come into another full body stretch again. See if we can point those toes a bit further away and reach those fingertips a little bit higher. And this time as you exhale, we're going to pull that left knee towards our chest. So again, nice tight grip around the shin here. Really try and work that knee in towards our left arm. And then now releasing the hands so that are linked behind that left thigh. And just start to move the hip sockets in gentle circles. Just opening up and again breaking down any tension from the head. Before swapping sides. Hands on the back of the thighs. Inhale and extend that leg up towards the stars. And again, stretching out through the hamstring here. So our foot is flexed and our toes are drawn down towards our kneecap. And our hands are either resting behind the thigh or even just on the top of the thigh. Again, it's a gentle stretch here. Not wanting to force it too much. And hugging that back knee back in towards the chest. And this time, we're going to pull that left knee over to the right hand side. So we're going to lie on our mat. This left arm is just going to reach behind us and then just come to rest on our left hand side. So our gaze is still forward to the right and we're opening up through the chest here. So again, just take that arm to wherever feels comfortable. You should notice that nice stretch, opening out through the shoulder. That nice gentle spine twist as well. So on this side too, just notice any areas you feel tightness or tension and let the body naturally unwind with the breath. Every time you exhale, just visualize those muscles softening, giving way just a little bit. Inhaling, sending the breath, those muscles, and exhaling, sighing all. I'm going to bring both knees back in towards the chest again here. And wrap the hands around both knees. And take some gentle rocks from side to side. From here, we're going to make our way onto the front of the mat. So you can either just rock to the side or you can just rock back and forward along the spine a few times until you can all the way up. And then we're going to fold over our knees into a tabletop position. So from here, we're going to check in, making sure the wrists are protected with our shoulders and the knees are underneath our wrists. So coming into cat-cow, it's going to bring some flexion and extension into the spine. Make sure that your hands are spread like stars, so you've got a nice strong root through the mat. As you inhale, we're going to drop the chest, take the gaze up and pull the shoulder blades back. As we exhale, we're going to roll back through the spine, taking the tailbone under, drawing our belly button towards our side. Inhaling, dropping the chest, sticking the buttocks out, taking the gaze upwards. Exhaling, reversing that movement, tucking the chin in towards the chest, crown the head drawn through down to the neck. Inhale to reach up and extend. Exhale to fold inwards. 1, 2 more rounds of breath. Inhaling. And exhale. Last one here. And then returning back to center. So from here, we're going to take an inhale in this position, and as we exhale, whether we are a cat or a cow, we are going to take a look round to have a look at our tail at the back. We're going to inhale back to center, exhale to look at our tail on the left hand side. Inhale to center, exhale, peeking at our tail on the right. Inhaling to center, exhale, peeking at our tail. Returning back to center, come to sit on your heels for a moment, and before we go into our down dog, we're just going to shake the wrists up a little bit. So, coming back into our tabletop position here, we're going to tuck the toes and push our hips up towards the sky, and then from here, make sure you've got lots of length in your knees. We're going to walk out and pedal out our dogs here. So making sure here that the objective is to have that strong chest to thigh connection and make sure that your palms are really firmly rooted down through the mat. Bringing some stillness into our dog, we're going to bend our left knee and take a twist to look underneath the right armpit. And inhaling back to center. Bending our left knee and right knee, taking a twist up under our left arm. Returning back to our down dog, again, pedal those feet out a few more times. From here, we come back down to our tabletop position. We're going to come into a thread the needle. So spreading the fingertips of the right hand nice and wide. As we inhale, we're going to take the left hand up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we're going to sweep the left hand underneath the right arm, coming to rest in our cheek here. Now from here, we're going to walk the hands of the right arm forward. So we've got a nice kind of like an L shape going on here. So just reaching that arm up above your head. And just keep resting here on your left hand side. So your gaze here should be looking towards the fingertips of the left arm. And that right arm that reaches above your head, just trying to walk those fingertips a little bit further on. And again here, just letting the breath do the work, opening up through the body, letting the body unwind, stretching out through the shoulder, and twisting to the spine. 2 more breaths. Here, walking that right hand back down so it comes back down towards your face, and then pushing into that right hand to come back into our tabletop position before we switch to on the opposite side. So this time it's our left hand that's planted firmly into the mat. We're going to sweep our right hand up towards the sky and up towards those fingertips, and exhale, pass the hands underneath and come to rest on your right hand side. So from here again, walk the left arm up above your head. So we form almost like a T-shape. So left fingertips are reaching up past your head, and that right arm is resting on. And again, make sure you're taking awareness of any sort of areas of tightness or tension. So that's your body telling you where it needs to work. So direct that inhale there to those parts. As you exhale, just let the muscles soften and release them. One more round of breath. And again, slowly move this left hand back down towards your face, then pushing into that hand and bring yourself back round to a tabletop position here. So from here, we're just going to lower our body down towards the ground, so we're lying face down. And just take a moment here just to lift one leg at a time and just adjust those hips so you feel nice and comfy lying on the mat. So I'm going to come into another shoulder stretch here. So here I'm going to extend the left arm out towards the side. So there's a nice line from my left wrist to my left shoulder. And I'm going to use this right hand just to push my body onto my left hand side and stretching out through the shoulder. So to deepen the stretch, you can use this right hand here to create more leverage and just push into that stretch. Or you can take this top leg here and bend the knee and let it rest behind the leg. So here we're wanting to go to a place where we feel like we are opening up, but we don't want to feel like there's any tightness or any tension. So if you do feel like it's getting a bit too much, then make sure you take a lower level option. Release that top leg and just roll a little bit closer, bring your chest closer to the ground. So do make sure that you're taking whatever options you feel you need to here. There might be a little element of tightness, but there certainly should be no pain and no pinch. Again, really important that you're visualizing the area of the body that you're working into. So thinking about that area around the shoulder, stretching out. Very slowly, if you put this leg bent and bring it back on top of the other leg, and very gently just rolling back onto your chest. Bring that left hand back in. This time we're going to extend the right arm along the mat and use this left hand here just to help push and roll us over onto this right hand side. And again, we can use this left hand to roll ourselves a bit further over that shoulder, or we can use this leg here to come and put a bit more pressure on the stretch as well. Now you might be different on each side, so it might be that one side needs a slightly nicer and easier option than the other. So make sure that you are honoring your body in that way. And again, anywhere you feel tightness, just send it up and can. Try and work and release into the stretch rather than fight it. And slowly releasing back down onto your front. And creating a little pillow with the hands just to rest the forehead on for a moment. Just rock the hips from side to side. And just rest. From here, we're going to come into a gentle back bend. So we're going to release the forehead to the mat, and we're going to have the arms resting down by the side, the palms facing up. And the legs here should be about hip distance apart. So here, think about the natural curve of your spine and the muscles in your lower back. On the next inhale, we're going to use those muscles to compress together and slightly raise our forehead and our shoulders off the ground. So here our gaze should still be down, and we should be really working these lower back muscles squeezing together to keep our chest lifted. Now that might be a good place for you to stay. If you want to intensify the stretch, you can lift the hands off the ground, squeeze the armpits together, and then push the fingertips as far away from you as you can. If you still feel like you'd like an extra stretch here, you can look at pushing the thighs in towards the mat and maybe lifting the feet off the ground as well. Make sure the work here is coming from squeezing your lower back and not squeezing your glutes. We'll do 2 more rounds of breath, or coming out of it whenever you feel you need. And then the next exhale, releasing slowly back down to the mat. From here, we're going to push back into an extended child's pose. So we'll get the toes together and the knees nice and wide. And again, here we can use our props if we want to. So we can rest our forehead on a cushion. Or if we feel like we want to put a cushion or a blanket between our heels and between our bum, then we can do that too. So allowing the third eye just to come into contact with the ground. And just come to rest here, so we've got a nice natural counter pose to that small back bend. So every time you exhale, think about your heart opening and sinking lower down towards the mat. Notice your hips, notice if there's any tightness or tension there as well. And try and actively work to walk the fingers a little bit further away from the body. So eventually your whole body is releasing and sinking down towards the ground. I'm going to stay here a little longer and enjoy a few more extra breaths. Maybe if you just want to rock the forehead from side to side, and massage the third eye, whatever feels nice for you. Just taking it extra long. Next inhale, I'm just going to walk the hands slowly across the right hand side. And this time trying to reach the left hand a little bit further than the right. It won't quite get there, but it gives us a nice tight stretch along the left hand side of the body. And again, lifting the forehead slightly and walking these arms over to the left hand side this time. Before we bring our forehead down towards the mat, and again reaching, trying to reach a little bit further with our right arms. Noticing that stretch all the way down the right hand side of the body. Walking our fingers back through the center. And again, releasing that forehead down towards the inhale, we're coming back into a tabletop position. And from here, we're going to tip the toes and go back into a down dog. So from this position here, on the next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up in towards the sky into a three-legged dog, and then we're going to bend the knee and then just open up to the right hip so that that right knee is our highest point. So while we're holding here, just check and make sure the pressure is still nice and even through both shoulders. And then on an exhale, sweeping that right foot through between the hands, dropping the back left knee, and inhaling up into a low lunge. So this position here, we're nice and strong and active through the arms, but we're not extending through the back. So tucking the tailbone under, squeezing this left glute here. Imagine we're trying to zip up a pair of jeans. So lots of attention that left glute, squeezing nice and hard to stop the back extending. So it might mean that we're not able to sink quite as deep into this hip, but it's time for that. And next exhale, we're going to float the hands down towards the mat. And we're going to come into a deeper hamstring stretch. So if you're quite flexible here, you might want to edge this right foot a little bit further out in front of you before we tip the toes and then come onto the heel and then drop our hips back towards our bum. So this hamstring stretch always feels super tight. It doesn't matter how flexible you are because you just go to a deeper place. So it requires an extra bit of patience here. So keep a little micro bend to the knee of this extended leg as well. Let's protect the kneecap. But just sitting and resting here into this stretch, making sure that your fingertips are really helping keep your chest lifted. And we're not here for that long. We're here for 2 more rounds of breath. Bending that front knee again. We're going to come back into our extended reach. And this time as we exhale, we're going to come into cactus arms. So we're going to bring the hands out towards the side and lift the chest up towards the sky. And here we are incorporating that back bend here. So really feel opening up to the chest, pulling your shoulders back, try and squeeze the shoulder blades together. On your next exhale, we're going to bring these hands down to the left-hand side. And then we're going to work to get this right knee in, squeezing it nice and close in towards that right shoulder. So if it's within your practice and you can actually go deeper here by moving this foot out towards the edge of the mat and coming down onto your forearms, then please feel free to take that option. Otherwise, just staying here in this lizard. Make sure you stay nice and strong and active through these arms. They are supporting you in this stretch. And just notice how that right hip feels. Whether it feels tight and needs a little bit more flexibility work on a daily basis, or whether that stretch feels nice and warm. So from here, we're going to come onto the toes of the back foot and then extend that back leg. And then swing this foot round and come back into the down dog. So make whatever adjustments you need to do here, just to straighten out your dog a little bit. And we're going to perform the same stretches on the opposite side. So inhaling, lift that left leg up towards the sky into a free leg up. And then starting to tilt. So we're dropping the foot, knee comes up towards the sky, but again, checking with these hands in the front. Make sure our shoulders are staying nice and deep. And notice that stretch as you open out to that left foot. Exhaling, sweeping the left foot forward, dropping that back knee and folding the foot, and inhaling, coming up to this lunge, but again, checking here, tilt the tailbone under, squeeze this right glute, make sure we're nice and tight to our core. This is not when our back bend. This is our hip work here. So keep nice and strong and active, squeezing the glutes the whole time. Gaze stays up, fingertips keep reaching up towards the sky. Think about pulling that left heel towards your right knee and vice versa. And then exhale, floating the hands down to the mat. And again, sliding that front foot away a little bit further if you want a deeper stretch. And then sitting back, bring the toes up towards the sky, resting on that heel, and trying to sit your bum down towards your heels here. Again, micro bend in this front knee. So we want to gently stretch out the hamstrings, but we want to make sure that we're not going to put too much strain. Hamstrings are, in their nature, long, thin muscles, so they're quite easy to pull as opposed to our quads, which are quite. So we always need to make sure that we're a little bit more patient with them and that we're nice and warm when we're stretching out the hamstrings. From here, we're going to bend that front knee. Inhale our arms up. And then cactus the arms. Again, here now we are coming into a back bend. So we can really lift the chest here and pull the arms back and squeeze our shoulder blades together. So really creating force and tension. You should really be able to feel that nice and tight in the traps. Each time you inhale, try to use the chest and lift up towards the sky. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands down towards the ground. We can walk that left foot out, turn it out to edge of the mat if you want to create a bit more space. And bringing the hands down here, coming into our lizard. So again, this left knee is now going to squeeze in and getting nice and cozy and nice and tight towards this left shoulder. If you do feel like you have more in you, then again, you can always come down to your forearms or rest your forearms in a blanket. That's not where my hips want to be today. So make sure your hands are nice and firmly rooted through the mat. There's a nice strong connection there. And again, squeeze that left knee towards that left shoulder. And straighten out this right leg. And then push back into down dog. And then drop the knees and just come straight, sit back down on our heels. So here, just shake the wrists up a little bit if you need to. Take any tension, any tightness out. So we're going to scoot round that. So we're going to sit on our bum. And we're going to come into a Baddha Konasana. So again, if you find in Baddha Konasana, your knees are up here, super tight, use your props. In this kind of yoga, in more kind of like slow yoga, like restorative yoga or yin yoga, then props are just like your best friend, and use them to fill any sort of gaps you have in the posture and really help you ease into those ones. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees naturally drop out towards the side. So starting off here, we're going to inhale and lift the chest, so sit up nice and tall. Try and draw that belly button towards the spine, so we're not arching or extending. We just have this nice neutral spine alignment, lots of tension here through the core. And as we exhale, we're going to just bring it into a little bit of a fold, and we're just going to really gently try and walk the hands forward. We're not rounding through the back here. We're just trying to keep our chest lifted and Just walk our hands forward, and if they only come just past our toes or towards our toes, that's absolutely fine. All we want to keep here is length in the spine. And again, we're just gonna let gravity do its work again. So as we exhale again, we're just gonna try to visualize and notice the hips opening up a little bit more, but we're not working to force our arms or our elbows into this stretch. Just inhaling, just keeping those fingertips, making sure the movement here is from opening up through the hips and not from rounding through the spine. And keep our gesture gaze nice and soft, maybe just 30 centimeters or so in front of our toes. Or you can even close your eyes if you want to. And if you have chosen to close your eyes, then maybe again you can visualize the hip joints and muscles around there. Visualize those muscles just relaxing and giving in a little bit each time you exhale. Here, next inhale, we're just going to bring ourselves back up to the right position and use our hands here to guide our knees back in towards each other. And then shift off the cushion. So that was our preparation stretch for a bit of a deeper stretch that we're going to go into. So we're going to go into a straddle stretch. So go into whatever version of straddle feels right for you. It's one of those ones where, unless you're super flexible, it can just feel like you're really getting nowhere with it. But it's something that if you practice on a regular basis, which I clearly haven't done, then you can make a lot of progression, which I've seen for the people, not for myself. So in straddle stretch, we're literally going to come out and kind of create this nice V with our legs here. Again, I invite you to have a bit of a micro bend underneath the knee, or if you do have any knee issues as well, again, it's a good time just to put like a little bit of a blanket or something underneath the knees, just prevent them from locking out a little. We want to try and prevent any sort of lockout in that knee joint area. So just something to support underneath. So it could feel that actually just holding yourself here is actually a bit too much. So you might just want to bring your hands behind and just let them rest here, and that's absolutely fine. That could be another stretch for your adductors and for your hamstrings. Otherwise, we can take an inhale and lift our fingertips up, and as an exhale, again, moving from the hips, just lean forward and let our hands come to rest wherever they may do. So we're still strong and active and flex through these feet here, toes pointing up. That's why it's a good idea to have lots of socks on, because it protects your heels from the floor. And we're just going to again creep a little bit further each time. So inhale, now lift that chest and just reach out from the hips. And as we exhale, just see if we can give into the stretch a little bit more and just walk a little bit further. And you should really notice that nice gentle stretch. And it should be gentle, not pushing yourself too far. Definitely no legs shaking. But that nice stretch around the groin area and around the inside legs. Just settling into it and working with the breath here. Inhaling, reaching. Sending that oxygen to those muscles that need it. And then exhaling, just releasing off. Soften. In this stretch here, notice, is there anywhere else that you're also holding tension? So maybe if it feels quite tight, you're gritting your teeth and you find that you're clenching your jaw, and make sure that you're relaxing out through those areas as well. Relaxing out through the shoulders, relaxing out through the jaw. Maybe notice, as you give those areas of your body permission to relax, maybe it helps you move a bit further into the stretch in different parts of the body. And then next inhale, just start to walk those hands back in towards your body. If you need to use your hands just to lift underneath the knees, then guide the legs back in. And again, help yourself. And we're just going to lean back a little bit, and we're going to stretch out those legs and just give our hips a bit of a rock from side to side here. So here we're going to come into a nice little spine twist. So starting with the legs extended out in front of us, we're going to bring both knees in towards our chest. And I'm going to wrap my right arm around those knees and hook them in nice and tight. So really close in towards my body, making sure my chest stays nice and lifted. And this left hand here is going to come and sit. It's going to come and sit beside me here. So it's helping me stay nice and lifted. I'm not leaning back on it. I'm nice and lifted here. I'm going to drop the right leg, extend out in front of me. And I'm going to hop this left foot over onto the other side of my right knee. And then from here, because my knees come a bit further away from my chest, I'm going to take this arm and just pull myself in even tighter. So as I inhale, I'm going to lift my chest. Then as I exhale, I'm going to twist over gently to the left-hand side. And again, I'm using this left hand just to lift me up so I'm not slumping back here. So I really want to try and squeeze my chest in towards this thigh. So the twist here should be from your torso, not from your neck. So we're not cranking our neck past our shoulder. We're inhaling, lifting up, then exhaling, allowing our torso to twist, and our gaze will follow in line with that. And again, using the breath, inhaling, imagining a string of gold silk pulling the crown of your head up towards the stars. And exhaling, just visualizing your spine, just releasing a little bit and curling a little. Pulling for one more round of breath. And slowly bringing yourself back down to center. This time we're going to go to the opposite side. So we're going to hook our knees in with our left arm. This time again, super tight. And take this right hand behind us. It depends how long your arms are. You might be able to have your palm facing down. If your arms aren't long enough, then spider hands is a good one. So this time I'm going to drop the left leg, pop the right foot over, get even tighter, cuddle and squeeze in here. Inhale, lifting my chest. Exhaling, taking that gentle twist over to the right hand side. And again, it might be on one side of the body you notice that the twist feels more natural and more easy and there's less resistance in the other side of the body. Just making sure you're working with each side as you find them. Inhaling, keeping lifting, pushing into that back arm. Exhaling, just inviting that gentle twist to move a little bit further. Last round of breath here. Inhaling, returning back through to center. And folding the legs. Gently rolling down to the ground here. So from here, we're going to walk our feet in towards our bum. And we're just going to lift our hips for a moment and just tuck our tailbone under and just let the lower back have a bit of a deeper connection towards the mat here. So walking your heels towards your bum and maybe your fingertips can almost touch your heels here. Our palms are placed flat down on the ground. We're going to come into a bridge pose. So on an inhale, we're going to push our feet to the ground and lift our hips up towards the sky, keeping our chin tucked under and our just gaze towards our belly button. So make sure here that your knees are tracking in line with your ankles, the same space apart as your hips, not caving in and pulling out to the side. And if you want to intensify this back bend, then you can link the hands together underneath the body and start to roll the shoulders towards each leg. And this is going to put you into a deeper back extension here. So whichever option you've gone for, do make sure again, keep in line that your knees are holding nice and strong. And in this back bend, please feel free to roll down slowly and carefully outwards at any point if it gets a little too much. Otherwise, we're going to hold for another 2 more rounds of breath. With the hands underneath you, then just releasing the palms flat down on the ground. Exhaling gently, rolling down through all the vertebrae until you come back down to your bottom position, then hugging the knees back in towards the chest. And taking that rock from side to side, just a nice gentle counter pose to that back bend. In this position here, we're going to come into asana, so our happy baby. So from our here, happy baby, we're going to keep the knees bent, but we're going to take the feet up towards the sky. So feet are flexed and the soles are facing upwards. So it might be that it feels good for you to rest the hands behind the thighs and use the momentum here, the strength here, to pull the thighs closer in towards the chest with your knees bent. If you feel like that's good, but you want a little bit more, then you can reach up and take outside of the soles of the feet with your hands and use your hands to pull your knees closer in towards your armpits. Now try and make sure you're not rolling all the way up and lifting your lower back all the way off the ground. We do feel lots of connection here, just so we're not resting all the way from our shoulders. So when we've got that nice tight grip, whether it's behind the back of our legs or if it's our feet, then just bring in some rocks from side to side there, like a baby. It's wriggling around, so not only are we working into the hips, but we're also getting that nice massage of the lower back. If you nearly fall over, you fall over, that's fine. Just don't fall over into the Christmas tree. I'm reminding myself. Imagine Jordan and Pat was on the tree. I rolled into it, nothing yet. And then keep working those knees closer in towards your armpits. And then slowly release whatever hold you have of them and let them float down so the feet come down towards the ground. And then you start to extend the legs along the mat. And rest your hands down by your side, your palms facing up. And then just let everything be. So we are going to come into our Shavasana now, into our relaxation. So if you're not already nice and toasty and cozy and warm, then please do whatever you need to bring yourself into that place. It could be that you just need like an extra pop, so you want to lean forward and grab that cushion and put it behind your head. It could be you want to zip your hoodie up or pull your hood over. Whatever you need to do to feel super cozy. So we're just here, just checking in with yourself, so our body is extended along the ground. Just our feet are naturally rocked out towards the side, so our legs are about the distance apart, and our arms just resting gently down the side of our body, with the palms facing up and the fingers gently curled. Maybe take a last shake of the head from side to side, make sure that you're holding no more tension or tightness in your neck or in your jaw. And again, then return to some nice deep breathing. So we're going to inhale through our nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the nose. Two more times. Inhaling deeply and that chest filled there. Exhale, swing everything out through the nose. Exhale to release. And again, allow everything to settle. Maybe with your eyes closed, we can see those last few flutters of snowflakes in your snow globe. Finally coming down to rest. Your body and your mind feeling this relaxed and peaceful. It's a beautiful snowy morning. Everything settled, pure, undisturbed. In the same way that snow and the holy sounds, allowing any thoughts that you've had, any worries or cares in the past week. Listen to those voices. Listen quite as well. You feel like you really can rest of your peace. Taking this time here in your Shavasana to finally let everything go. And just appreciate the feeling of being held by the ground beneath. Knowing that whenever you need to come to this place and have this break, have this time, it's always waiting here for you. Maybe allow my voice to guide you back into the room, or if you feel like you want to stay in Shavasana a bit longer, then please feel free to stay exactly as you want. Otherwise, just gentle movements here, maybe dropping one hip to one side and another. Maybe circling the ankles and wrists. Shaking the head from side to side. Reaching up, arms above the head, full body stretch, really stretching out, reaching, reaching, reaching. Big smile across the face. And then holding the knees in towards your chest, really tight, nice tight little ball. Bring your forehead towards your knees to deepen that stretch and just massage out the lower back. Feeling cozy and protected and happy. And then maybe rolling over onto your right hand side and just coming to rest your head in your hands like a little pillow. And then again, you can stay here if you like. Otherwise, just very slowly, with your eyes still closed, okay, soft. Just drawing yourself up, taking your time, go into a comfortable cross-legged position on your mat. And just resting your hands on your knees or bringing your hands into heart center, whatever feels right for you in your practice today, and dropping your gaze. And just remembering again, like I said, this practice is always here for you whenever you need it. At this time of year, or in general, sometimes when we feel like we need soothing, if we need something, if we're having a bad time, we kind of reach out, we buy things. Like we're buying ourselves gifts or presents. And really the gift or present that we need to give to ourselves is time. So just knowing that this time of year as well as always, you always have this time to give to yourself. So bowing your head as a sign of gratitude to the practice and ancient lineage of yoga, to all those who've come to share it with me today. And again, as a sign of gratitude to yourself for giving yourself this gift of time. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.